Hi everyone! I cannot believe that we have reached the last week of our Google Classroom. Over the past 7 weeks, we have covered topics in reading comprehension, writing mechanics, and literary analysis. We hope that you are feeling more confident and ready to tackle the competencies assessments. One small note. Make sure you look over the essay prompt posted on the Google Classroom from Roll of Thunder, Hear My Cry. Now, we have one last topic to cover before we set you free to put everything you've learned into practice: the literary analysis skill of character analysis. In 8th grade, you all learned about characters and character traits, those unique aspects of a character that stand out. You have read about stubborn Cole, curious Jonas, and independent Winnie. But it is not just enough to be able to say what a character's traits are. We also have to be able to analyze them in order to gain a deeper understanding of the character themselves, the relationships with other characters, and the story as a whole. As always, we are going to kick off this lesson with a do now. For our do now, I want you to pick one character that you read about in 8th or 9th grade. It can be whatever character you want. After you have picked your character, I want you to first make a list of the character's traits at the beginning of the text. Then, I want you to make another list of their character traits at the end of the text. Got it? Okay. Pause the video now and complete the assignment on the Google Classroom page. Alright, let's come back together now. We are going to use the Do Now prompt as a jump-off point for my guided teaching. The most important thing to remember with character analysis is that it is not the same as summarizing, our lesson topic from week 1. When I ask you to analyze a character, I am not asking you to explain who the character is and every single thing they did in the story. That would take you forever, and at this point, I have faith that all of you can tell me what happened in a story. When I ask you to analyze a character, what I am asking you is to explain how that character changed over the course of the story. How did their attitude, personality, or beliefs change? How did their dreams and ambitions develop? How did their relationships with other characters evolve? When you answer those questions, you are analyzing a character rather than simply summarizing. Now that we have covered content, let's think about structure. There are 2 parts to a good character analysis response. First, you need to tell me who the character is. This part does include a little bit of summarizing. Use what you learned in our week 1 video and pick the most important details about the character. This part should not be more than 2 sentences. The second part is where you tell me how the character changed over the course of the story. Remember to use specific examples from the text in order to support your analysis of how the character changed. This part can be between 3 to 5 sentences. Time for some practice. We are going to write a character analysis of the main character from Touching Spirit Bear, Cole Matthews. Given that he is the protagonist of the book, we have a lot of information to sift through to pick out the most important information to include in the summary part of our analysis. We could write something like this. Cole Matthews is a 14-year-old boy who beat up his classmate named Peter, causing him to be put in a restorative justice program that sent him to a remote Alaskan island to learn from his mistakes. There, Cole was attacked by a white bear called a spirit bear, an attack which caused Cole to reflect on himself, his relationship with others, and the world as a whole. Okay, from this summary, you now know who Cole is, a 14-year-old boy, what he did, beat up his classmate Peter, and what the consequence of that action was, being sent to a remote island. In the second sentence, I tell you about the most important experience he had on the island, being attacked by the spirit bear. Now we're going to go into the analysis section of our response, where we explain how Cole changed over the course of Touching Spirit Bear. We could write something like this. At the beginning of the book, Cole was a very angry boy who blamed everyone else for his problems. After his experience with the spirit bear, Cole began to understand that he alone was responsible for his actions and that he was connected to everyone and everything around him. This led to Cole realizing that life is a circle, and he began to earnestly work to become a calmer person and heal his relationship with Peter. In my analysis, I explained the two biggest changes that I saw in Cole during the book. One, his anger issues, and two, his unwillingness to take responsibility for his own mistakes. Cole went from angry to calm, and from blaming others to acknowledging what he did wrong. So altogether, our character analysis response would look like this. Cole Matthews is a 14-year-old boy who beat up his classmate named Peter, causing him to be put in a restorative justice program that sent him to a remote Alaskan island to learn from his mistakes. There, Cole was attacked by a white bear called a spirit bear, an attack which caused Cole to reflect on himself, his relationship with others, in the world as a whole. At the beginning of the book, Cole was a very angry boy who blamed everyone else for his problems. After his experience with the spirit bear, Cole began to understand that he alone was responsible for his actions and that he was connected to everyone and everything around him. This led to Cole realizing that life is a circle, and he began to earnestly work to become a calmer person and heal his relationship with Peter. Okay, how are we feeling? Let's recap really quickly. Our character analysis responses have two purposes. 1, summarize who the character is, and 2, explain how the character changed from the beginning to the end of the story. The second section should always be more substantial than the first. If you want to think about it in terms of ratios, I would recommend a 2-to-3 ratio. 2 sentences for summary, 3 sentences for change. Our assignment for this week will be using the work that you already did for the Do Now. Take the character and the list that you wrote for the Do Now and craft that into a character analysis response. This should be a paragraph and include both the summary and change sections. Make sure you submit this to the Google Classroom page. And with that, we have reached the last of our Google Classroom videos. Thank you for all of your hard work over the past 8 weeks. I really wish we could have been together in the classroom, but you should all be very proud of the tenacity and perseverance you have shown over this time. Please use the videos in Google Classroom over the summer to keep practicing your English competencies. Reach out if you have any questions. My biggest recommendation would be to keep reading over the summer. The more you read, the better prepared you are going to be at the beginning of next year. And with that, for the last time, get out of here, 9th grade. Have a great summer.